12:05 on the oil stream. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. Just had to make a quick graphic change, but we are good to go now. It is the oil stream brought to you by Boston Pizza, where every single day in January is pizza, or not Pizza Tuesday, Pasta Tuesday. Every single day at Boston Pizza is a pizza day. All right, let's be honest.
Pasta Tuesday, Pizza Tuesday. Oh man, just too much of a good thing.
Give me that meteor pizza.
It's so good.
If I could literally inject the sausage from that pizza into my veins, I would do it.
It's very good. I mean, tomorrow we will be back at BP Westgate.
You're there tomorrow, and then we're
tomorrow.
at Westmount on Friday for lunch.
Correct.
Yes.
I think I might go pasta.
Back-to-back pasta.
Because I went with the Philly dipper the other day.
You did.
It was a great choice, by the way. Highly recommend if you're in the mood for a sandwich. But I feel like it's pasta time, and there's so many options. I might go to my Build-A-Pasta where I do the tortellini with the Italian sausage and get it baked with the rosé sauce. And then on Friday, when we go for lunch, maybe I try something different.
You got that nice back-to-back day. You can really mix it up a little bit. I know for sure, probably during the show on Friday, Westmount Boston Pizza. Join us on Friday. We'll be there. I'll be there for Lock Shop and then Oil Stream as well. I am definitely going live during show. Thai chicken bites.
Delicious.
And then after, I might go pasta. After just to wrap up on Friday.
A Thai chicken bite is a great, especially because you're there a little bit longer because you do Lock Shop.
Yeah, I do Lock Shop before. You usually have a Belgian moon.
You build up the appetite. There's so many times that I go in and I'm like, do not have a drink. Do not have a drink. And then I'm like, because I have plans for the afternoon and I have one and I see you having one. I'm like, maybe I'll have one more. I know.
It's a good time, right?
It is a good time.
Before you know it, Tommy and I are knee deep in fish bowls.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Friday afternoons we've done at Westmount. We could let loose a little bit Friday afternoon if we wanted.
Let's let our hair down.
I don't have anything going on.
Oh.
So just
neither do I.
Quiet weekend. Maybe.
I like this look on your face.
I may be a little mischievous.
It is a bit mischievous.
We'll see. Maybe. We'll see how the day goes.
We'll
see how the day goes. This is my favorite comment so far. And we do have a guest on the oil stream today. If you, for all you oil streamers who are listening and watching right now, would you like to see Tommy and I have more guests on the oil stream, or do you just prefer us bantering back and forth and reading your texts and chats?
Yeah.
Because we could definitely mix in a weekly guest. Why not? I mean, we could have enough guys around town or heading out of town or a preview in opposition. It's kind of just usually been us chatting about stuff. But if you would prefer the odd guest, let us know. You can text us 780-218-9999, or you can hit us up over in the nasty chat. I love this one. This is my favorite. This is my favorite message of the day so far. Hey, Tom and Dustin. Just to lead into this, I didn't see who it was from at first. So I read it and I was like, who is the idiot that is sending that doesn't think, hey, Tom and Dustin, really love the show. Little note here. Noah Philp played for the University of Alberta Golden Bears early in his career.
No way.
Feel free to use on air if you like. From Reed Wilkins, who's sitting over in the bullpen there.
He's feisty, man. I love it. Reed Rick. I had no idea that Noah Philp had spent time with the Alberta Golden Bears. That's a great tidbit that I'm going to use right now.
It's really quite bizarre that it's never mentioned in the market by anybody.
No, I don't know why it doesn't get more airplay in the market from anybody.
Well, wait, what's this? I just got a text. Chris Knobloch played for the Golden Bears too.
Shut up.
And he's a coach of the Oilers now.
Hey.
That's crazy.
I'm getting word right now.
What?
Derek Ryan was a University of Alberta Golden Bear.
And he used to play for the Oilers as well. I'm kidding. Oh, I guess I'm kind of not kidding.
We'll find out right away.
I mean, so let's just start there with Philp. We'll get to, I got some other stuff for the spicy headlines. That's where we'll get to Klingberg. But let's just start with the game tonight against the Minnesota Wild. Give us the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game. What time you get rolling tonight?
5:30.
5:30, so at the tail end of the Reed Wilkins show.
Exactly.
Reed Wilkins pointed out earlier today that Noah Philp played for the University of Alberta Golden Bears.
So glad
That's how knowledgeable Reed Wilkins is on his show.
No doubt about it. I had no idea that was a fact, and now I do. So thank you, Reed. among others. Belsey will be in studio.
Oh, nice.
So
Man,
Belsey, myself,
busy
and
time for
Hernan.
Belsey.
Yeah, he's putting in. Like
He was
a
in on
big
2 guys
week.
yesterday. He's in on 2 guys tomorrow.
I
And,
really
he was in
like
on the
that.
hangout today.
I was listening to it. I listened back when I got home yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, he was in."
Yeah, Belsey's
studio.
good. Belsey's really good.
He's very good. He was great today on the hangout. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a 7-1 beatdown like we saw on December 12th, but Minnie is banged up. The Oilers are playing well. They're coming off a very good win against LA. Now we're going to see Noah Philp. I know we're going to get into Philp here. I have some theories. I've had some people just tell me from the team, like I said, is he here to stay? And I was told it's for a bit at least. So
For a bit.
they're going to give him a look.
Okay, so we got a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they should give him a look. If he at 26 cannot be a more effective player than Derek Ryan at his age, then Philp's not going to be in the National Hockey League for very long. Like that's all he has to be better than for now.
Good point.
I mean, pre-deadline, and we talked about it this morning on the Nielsen show. Like, you might as well get 3 to 4 weeks, look at him, and see if, okay, you know what? This guy can be a big body, right shot, fourth line center, and you don't have to go out and try to get one at the deadline. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that. And I still, even, like, say he has the best case scenario where he just slides in seamlessly, then okay. Like, my mental ease would grow with him being around. But I still feel like, as of today, they probably still need to get another veteran.
Well, look, man.
At forward.
I don't want this to come across as disrespectful to Derek Ryan, but even if Noah Philp can play, they still need another veteran.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't want to get to a spot where, it's the 3rd game of the first round of the playoffs and Noah Philp looks like a rookie. Well, slot in Derek Ryan, but Derek Ryan doesn't do enough at this stage to even have a positive impact on the fourth line. Well, you still need that other guy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and going to what you said about Philp and what he needs to do to kind of replace Derek Ryan. And I know we've talked about it a lot on this show. We eventually see, this kind of being the passing of the baton or whatever for fourth line center. But really, if you're Noah Philp, what do you need to do? You need to win faceoffs when you take them, be good in your D zone, and be better than Ryan with the puck, and then just be a big body, tough to play against guy with a little bit more, because Ryan isn't fast. And I think if Philp has a little more speed, gets up and down the ice quicker, if he sticks to like those 5 basic things, and don't get me wrong, like it's not easy to do all those things at the NHL level, but if he can do those things more effectively than Derek Ryan, he's your guy, right?
yeah.
Is that a fair way to look
I think
at
that's
it?
I think that's a fair way to look at it. 100%. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. What's going on with Ekholm?
I haven't been told anything. I haven't really asked because I figure he's probably sick. He's a game time decision. We know that. That's from Chris Knobloch. If you're injured, you generally don't travel. Generally. Especially for a 5-day trip like this. So, I mean, there's been so many like bugs and viruses going around. There was one that ran through the team about a month ago. Teams that have been coming in, I know, was it Seattle that was talking about? They were all banged up and sick. There's been a few teams that have come in and they were sick. Oh, it was Utah was dealing with the bug when they came in New Year's Eve. Stuff's going on. He's got kids. Those are just walking, talking germ bags.
Going back to school after Christmas with kids. It's like Marshall literally went to the first day of school, came home with sniffles.
Yeah.
And Tammy's like, school again. Like,
So again, this is just me kind of speculating. I'm assuming he's just got some kind of illness, and they're telling him to rest up. If it's more than that, I think time will tell. But yeah, Josh Brown on the left side tonight. Anybody for that?
no.
No.
No,
Exactly.
I'm not for that. But you know what? It ties into where we're going here with the spicy headlines for Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, and they've got a value menu going right now: 5-piece nuggets, fried pickles, mini chicken wrap, mini chicken sandwich, blackened cauliflower, $4 for the options. So you can get 5-piece nuggets for $4. You can get a mini chicken wrap for $4. You can get a mini chicken sandwich for $4. Get fried pickles for $4, or blackened cauliflower for $4. Now here's a new little twist for the show, for the Oil Stream and the Nielsen show, maybe a little bit. I was emailing with Kayla over at Popeyes yesterday, and what they have done is they have provided me and loaded up a bunch of. Let me see, where is it? Uber Eats gift cards.
Oh, nice.
So we can just straight up Uber Eats Popeyes in for lunch while we do the Oil Stream moving forward.
I want some of those frickles.
How good is that? Fried pickles?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're delicious.
Do other people call them frickles, or is that just a you thing?
No, it's, I think a few places call them frickles. Like when we were at Hudson's live on location, they had frickles.
Okay.
I would always get the frickles. It's fried pickles, but.
Well, the Uber Eats guy better get ready to know our address, because we've got these cards loaded up, and we are going to be having popping out. Friday, we're on location, Westmount Boston Pizza. Monday, we're going to have some menus off this value items, value menu.
I love that.
It's in right here. That's what we're going to have.
I love that. And A&W's doing the $6 combo right now, right? You guys are talking about the 2 bacon and eggers, the 2 mama burgers for $6.
Yeah.
I love combos like that.
Ridiculous.
It's so good. I'll do the combo, please.
Very, very yummy. All right, the spicy headlines are all the latest on Klingberg. Tommy, have you heard anything on John Klingberg?
Nothing outside of what Dregs reported.
Okay.
That the Oilers would be interested among 5 to 7 teams, and there's like a 2-week window here. Maple Leafs want back in with him. I think Ottawa was in on it. The one thing that stands out to me is now we're kind of getting an idea of the post Ken Holland era, because Kenny would call everybody on anyone just to have an idea of what's going on, whether or not he was interested.
He was always in on everything because that's what the report would be from others. Yeah.
But in this case, like, do I think John Klingberg is the solution? No. Do I think if the Oilers were to somehow make an offer and land John Klingberg, do I think that would be them saying, that's it, we're good? Absolutely not. But I think he would be a depth piece. He'd be your 6-7, and you still want to go out there and get a big piece, big move type at the deadline or around the deadline. So I think this would be a complimentary thing. Who knows what John Klingberg is like?
Well, I know what he's like.
Back.
He's a minus 20 player for the last 5 years.
Okay, there's that.
Just look at the numbers.
I know.
His last 3 years in Dallas, minus 10, minus 15, minus 28. His 1 year in Anaheim, minus 28. Last year with the Leafs, he's minus 7 in 14 bloody games.
Yeah.
John Klingberg can't defend. There is no chance. There's no world I live in where I would play Klingberg with Kulak on a third pair in a playoff game.
Would you take him over Stetcher?
I'm not even sure.
Okay. See,
he's coming off hip resurfacing surgery, and he wasn't effective before for years.
Yeah.
You're like, if it's a league min, and I said this morning, I wouldn't want to sniff around at all. If it's a league minimum deal, and he's your number 7, after the deadline, then okay. It's a veteran guy. He's played 63 playoff games, but I'm not putting him in the lineup over Ty Emberson. Emberson is going out to play in the final minute of hockey games to protect leads for you. Klingberg will never be that guy. The only purpose he may possibly serve is on the power play, and you already have one of those guys. And you're not going into the playoffs with Klingberg riding alongside Darnell Nurse.
And that guy's a defensive liability right now, too.
Who's that?
Boosh.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, league minimum, he's your number 7 after the deadline. That's, I think, where it has to be.
I don't think he ends up here. Ultimately, that's my hunch. I don't think this is the right fit for him anyway.
The exact tweet from Dreger was an hour ago.
Okay.
And I texted him about it because it confused me a little bit.
Okay.
Said, refreshing the Klingberg watch. As reported last night, 5 to 7 teams very interested in his return. Edmonton, Toronto, Ottawa in the mix. Also hearing that the Dallas Stars are in the chase, as well as Colorado. So some pretty good teams here deciding that maybe a veteran depth guy is what they need. Dregs would wrap this tweet by saying, some feel the Oilers now a primary target. Too soon to say. So I was a little bit confused, as in it almost sounds like Klingberg is targeting the Oilers as the place he wants to go, where it says some feel the Oilers now the primary target as opposed to the Oilers now the front runner. So I fired Dregs a text. I said, hey, just before we blab on about this for the rest of the day, clarify this for me. And basically what he said, a lot of teams in the mix, but Edmonton is at or near the top right now.
From Klingberg's point of view? That's the interpretation we're trying to understand.
I guess, but the Oilers would have had to put a level of interest out in him as well, right?
Yeah. The only other thing I would think is that a negotiation tactic?
I don't know. Drake says he likes Edmonton. So he would want to come to Edmonton. But is Edmonton targeting him, or is he sitting there going, Edmonton's a place I'd like to go. Let's get this thing done.
That's what the tone and the verbiage sounds like. Is like Klingberg likes Edmonton, and the Oilers have interest.
That's what I kind of sense
them
too.
Pursuing the free agent as much.
That's what I kind of feel like.
Right?
It'll be great for your post-game shows. Like if you think people bitch about Bouchard's defense right now, wait until Klingberg plays games here. Like I want this. I don't want this to come across as like he's the worst player ever, but to play the fourth spot alongside Darnell Nurse, you need the exact opposite defenseman of Klingberg.
Absolutely.
Is that like that's not an unfair statement? That's just reality.
And I don't think you're ready to put Emberson there full time.
No, don't. I think Emberson is developing perfectly on the path that they have him on right now.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be like, hey, guess what, man? Go up and play with Darnell Nurse for 10 games. And you know what? Those 10 games might destroy his confidence, or maybe he wades his way through them, and from game 11 to 20, it gets a little bit better.
Maybe.
But league minimum, if you think you've got the cap space to acquire the guys that you need to acquire moving forward, league minimum as an upgrade so you don't have to have Josh Brown around. But I'm not even technically sure I'd have him in a lineup over Troy Stetcher. Coming off surgery and being a massive defensive liability.
Yeah, and it's going to take him 15 games just to get up and running, basically. And you're chasing a first spot in the division because that's still within reach. I just don't think he's the right type of defenseman that they need. I understand the allure of him, but and again, he would not be the solution. I think you'd still need to go and make a bigger impact. Trade or sign, not signing at this point, but trade for sure for the Oilers. I don't know, man. Anytime you mention Edmonton, it gets people talking, right? And that's why I kind of wonder if this might be a negotiation tactic.
Over his last 4 seasons, he's minus 85.
That's not bad.
I'm kidding. This is bizarro Ekholm. This is not. Yeah. This is not the top 4 D man you're looking for. This is a 7th depth guy, if anything.
You're doing the Obi-Wan thing.
I'm doing the Obi-Wan thing.
Very good.
Big Obi-Wan household right now.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I think there's probably better options out there. If I was the Oilers, I'd not go after Klingberg.
Yeah, I would say thanks.
Thank you.
No thanks.
Appreciate it.
He can move the puck. He's always been able to move the puck. But coming off an injury, coming off surgery, I mean, if anybody screwed up their career from a contract perspective, it was this guy.
Because he did the 1-year bet on himself.
He had some big deals out there, but he just decided to take the 1-year deal in Anaheim.
Yeah, and it blew up in his face.
Yeah, and it just hasn't worked well for him since.
I don't love it. So I think we had a poll up on one of the shows yesterday asking, I think it was one of the afternoon shows.
It ended up like 75-25.
With no.
Yeah.
And I agree with those people. It makes for good chatter. And it's nice that, a player of some significance looks at Edmonton and goes, that would be a great place to go play. I would like to provide my services there for a reasonable price. That's lovely. But how much does that help the Oilers pursue Stanley Cup? At this point, I would say this situation, this player, where he's at, minimally.
780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Let's get to some of your reaction. This is Klingberg here in the Popeyes Spicy Headlines. Check out their value menu right now. $4 items over at Popeyes. Matt of the Garrison says, guys, there's a few top teams that are interested in them. I mean, it's true.
That's fine.
It's true.
But why? Okay, here's another thing. Like, just to cap this, Why would Toronto be interested in him? They have like 9 defensemen right now.
I don't know. That's why I do think a lot of this would be an agent trying to create a market for him, which is what they do. I mean, that's their job. I don't see 7, 8, 9 teams lining up for aging defensive liability coming off an injury, John Klingberg.
At minus 85.
Minus 85 in his last 4 seasons. I mean,
alluring.
That doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Phil McCracken, thank you for watching Hello Hockey the other day, bringing up Brian Dumoulin, because that's who Dave Pagnotta talked about as well. He added to David Savard. He mentioned Dumoulin.
Dumoulin, yeah. Belsey mentioned that 2 guys yesterday.
Yeah.
Phil McCracken's a Nasty Club member.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right.
I was going through I was looking for somebody else's Nasty Club package, and I saw it said Phil McCracken. I was like,
that's funny. I like it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Chris G says the Leafs are always in on someone, just like the Blue Jays. Yeah.
Waddy in Cloverdale says, with Klingberg in mind, would you be worried that Bouchard's career projection could mirror Klingberg's?
Oh.
I would say no, just because Bouchard has already surpassed Klingberg's all-time upside.
Yeah.
And
Bouchard generally gets better as the season wears on, does his best work in the stretch drive and the playoffs, and he's kind of made that his MO. This year, it feels like it's taking... I think the contract thing is kind of hanging over his head and is kind of messing him up a bit, because defensively, man, the last week has not been good in his own zone, and even at the blue line, offensive zone blue line, he's missing pucks and giving away 2-on-1s and breakaways and stuff like that. I think when Bouchard gets signed, hopefully not for $11 million, like he's going to ask for, he can just settle into being the guy that we watched last year.
Let's get to a few more of your text messages at 780-218-9999, or hit us up over in the Nasty Chat as well. And if you have any questions today for Keep It or Clip It, you can submit those. The format. We do it. It's a statement, then we keep it or clip it. And we've got a guest coming up here at 12:30 as well. RCN says, if you consider both Kulak and Emberson as number 5 D-men, obviously the need is for a number 4 right shot guy. Mm-hmm. But even adding another 50 left or right is the play, not a third pair power play specialist, which is how he would be viewing Klingberg, which is exactly what Klingberg would be.
Very, very fair point. I'm going to agree wholeheartedly with that. That's why I don't understand. I'm like, why John Klingberg? Where's the benefit here? Where do the Oilers get better in this scenario?
I was very confused by it, because I also don't see how he technically makes them better if they're already planning on, and at some point we'll get, a legitimate defenseman prior to the deadline.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the case. This one's interesting too. It comes in here. We'll hit this during the Popeyes spicy headlines as well. Looking forward to the Tristan Jarry to the Oilers conversation. Tristan Jarry on waivers.
I know.
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I feel bad for Tristan, because he's been an all-star. He got that extension.
He's had some really good moments.
I think it was you guys talking about him leading the league in shutouts last year. I mean, it's gone sideways for him. Maybe he is. I don't think Edmonton isn't even a consideration for Tristan Jarry. But he might be a guy that would benefit from a change of scenery.
Just go see if a fresh start somewhere else.
Yeah, because it feels like it's been a wonky couple of years in Pittsburgh, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's really wonky. Like the whole Ron Hextall fiasco and that kind of was slipping through their fingers a little bit, like having a grasp on the situation. Then they bring in Kyle Dubas, and the moves he made last year didn't really work out, even though they kind of got in the mix in the end of the season for that last playoff spot that Philly blew and Washington slid in there. And then this year, it seemed like they made some decent moves. And they've got Crosby and Malkin. Crosby playing excellent. You'd think they'd have the goaltending. And I think it was like a month into the year, they're sending him down for a conditioning stint to the minors. And I don't know. It's just been so all over the map in Pitt. And when you're the goalie, maybe you're the focal point. So maybe he just needs a change of scenery and he can get back to being an all-star caliber goaltender. I'm rooting for him. I think he still has ties to Edmonton. I think he has a home in Sherwood Park. So,
You guys want to hear something crazy about Tristan Jarry?
yes.
Yes, we do. That's Hernan Salas, everyone.
Ryan Holt's ready to go as well.
Yeah, we'll bring him in
I
right
see
away.
him.
22 games this season for Tristan Jarry, okay? He's allowed a goal on the first shot he faced 6 times, on the second shot 4 times, on the third shot 2 times, on the fourth shot 4 times, on the 5th shot 3 times. He made it to shot 6 without allowing a goal 6 times in 22 games.
That's not ideal.
No.
Tough numbers there.
So don't let more than
Yeah.
6 shots on goal in a game when Tristan's in net right now.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, it is the Oil Stream. We are presented to you by Boston Pizza, where every single day in January is Pasta Tuesday. Every single day. It's Pasta Day at Boston Pizza. We will be at the Westmount Boston Pizza with the Oil Stream live on Friday. Make plans to pop on by and say hi. All right, Noah Philp has been called up. Who do we have on, Tommy?
We have the voice of the Bakersfield Condors, the one and only Ryan Holt, Mr. 805 himself. Great beer and great friend, great broadcaster, just a good dude all around.
Okay, bring me up to speed on the 805.
Tell us about the 805, Holty.
What is this?
I said I'd trade you a flat of 6 o'clock or lager for a flat of 805s.
It's the best beer in Central California. It's brewed by Firestone Walker in Paso Robles. So if you're ever looking for a wine trip with the significant other and you're not a wine person, it's perfect for a beer trip. It's the best lager going.
It's very, very good. And then
In the States, not the 6 o'clock lager.
Thank you. We
thank
appreciate
you.
that. Yeah.
It is excellent. And I found it in Arizona a lot more lately. And so whenever I'd go down there, I'd buy some and I'd send Holty a picture. I'm like, look what I'm drinking. Thanks to you. It's a great beer.
805 is my Western beer. Shiner Bock's my Southern Texas beer. And
Yes.
then Yingling one back here. Yeah.
Shiner Bock is excellent. That is a Texas staple. Yingling I actually really like. I think that's out of Pennsylvania, right?
Yes. Oldest brewery in America.
It's fantastic. Okay, Pasta Tuesday all month long at Boston Pizza. What is Holty getting? Because you can build your own.
The go-to pasta.
Yeah.
You start fresh. What would you build?
I've tried to get away from red sauce. It doesn't do well with me in my elder years here. So I'd be like if we get like an Alfredo, a light Alfredo, or like a cheese, like butter garlic. Wine sauce, that type of
rosé,
fettuccine, meatballs. Throw it all in there.
Man. This is it. I'm a fettuccine Alfredo guy with baked cheese meatballs. That's what. That's my thing.
Phenomenal.
There we go.
I knew we'd be good friends.
Yeah, we'll get a large one and we'll share it like Lady in the Tramp. That's what we'll do. I think that'll be terrific. All right, Noah Philp has been called up. We've kind of been expecting it to happen sometime up here. What about down there? You couldn't have been surprised when this came about, could you?
No, I think he fits a need, right? And I think we talked about this before. What are you looking for in a call-up? The Oilers are looking for a depth centerman, a guy who, can be impactful in 8 to 10 minutes of ice time, win faceoffs, kill some penalties, if you will. And, he's a right shot. And that's what, maybe Edmonton's looking for at this very moment. I think that, Noah got off to a really good start this year, went up, made his NHL debut, has turned it on a little bit as of late, but I think, this is a good opportunity for him to make an impact with the big club. Maybe he sticks, maybe he doesn't, but I think you have to know what you have come, March or whenever the trade deadline is here coming up in a couple of weeks, just to know what you have in the system. And I think he fits that need of what Edmonton, I think, is looking for right now, which is kind of that depth center that can, provide a little spark. He has offense in his game. He's got a terrific shot, and he kills penalties. So I think, there's all the tangibles there, and he fills the void for what this team needs right now. And, hey, I think he's going to get a good run, and we'll see what happens.
Holty, watching him, and you watch these guys, and you know which guys are, perfect tweeners. You know which guys are ready to take the next step. You know which guys need more time because you have a great sense of it. You got a great eye for it. You're talking to the coaches all the time as well. Is Philp on the cusp of being an NHL player from what we've seen? And what's your sense of that?
I think he's there just in terms of what the need is, right?
Okay.
I don't think you're and Noah plays, 15 to 19 minutes a night here in Bakersfield. He gets power play time. He kills penalties. It's not going to be like that in Edmonton all the time. But I don't think you're looking for that at the next level. You're looking for a guy who can come in and play that role. When you look at that kind of grouping, I think you're looking at Noah Philp and you're looking at James Hamlin. Those are the two guys that are kind of filling that void. A centerman who can win draws, who can be good defensively in their own end, and then also be able to chip in with some offense if needed. And, Hamlin shoots left and, Philp shoots right. And I think, having that versatility is big. And I think both have been good. But, yeah, I think, Noah fills the void right now. That's that role and that's that slot. You're not calling up Matt Savoy to be this role. And that's the reason why I think Noah's up there right now.
Yeah, and we'll get to Savoy in a second. With Philp, you mentioned he fits the role perfectly right now. How much more upside is there to him, do you think, at a national? Like, is he a third liner? Could he become a third liner?
Potentially. Again, that's above my pay grade. And I think when you're grading or when you're looking at players, and it's not a knock on Noah, but he's a little older, right? So if you're comparing Noah Philp to, even Hamlin, or, you go further back, I mean, you could compare him to Jaden Grube. Jaden Grube's 21, 22 years old. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at 4 or 5 years later on for Noah Philp and his progression. So I think whatever Noah Philp is right now, I think is what he is. And that can be a good, strong checking, centerman in the National Hockey League. Derek Ryan got there late. Noah Philp's going to get there late. It's just a matter of when. And I think, like I said, he fills the void. He skates well. He moves well. Can his decision-making maybe be a little quicker? I think so. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to hurt you in those 8 to 10 minutes that he's going to get, going into tonight.
Ryan Holt joining us now, voice of the Bakersfield Condors. We're talking about Noah Philp, who got called up by the Oilers. Expect him to be in the lineup tonight against the Wild. With Philp and him, sitting out a season, did you notice some nights where that was affecting him, or was he able to kind of pick up where he left off from training camp, where he was very, very good? And then the other thing is, when did he start fighting? Because that's another nice element to his game.
Yeah, he and Lane Peterson turned into fighters for about a week and a half there. And I didn't imagine it. But, I think, Noah came in and obviously you mentioned had a terrific camp. I think once the grind of the season, starts, once you start hitting December and you're playing midweek games in Ontario, California, that I think is the sign of the true player. And I think, Noah's had bursts of it throughout the year, and that consistency needs to be there at the NHL level because, like it or not, it's a results-oriented business. Mm-hmm. And, everything is scrutinized at the NHL level. You're allowed to, kind of fly under the radar, for off nights here in the American Hockey League, and nobody really noticed but us. At the NHL level, the microscope's on you, but I think, Noah has a good head on his shoulders. He's ready to go, and this is a good opportunity for him because it's, I don't know if it's sink or swim time right now, but it's certainly, sink or float time if you want to become a full-time NHLer going into the end of this year.
Let's chat about Matt Savoy, who I had a chance to do the WHL final, and watching him in that series, as I called it, you could tell it was ready for the next step. So far in Baco this year, he's second on the team in scoring. I've seen a lot of people online raving about how good he's played defensively. How do you summarize his first 32 games with the team?
Terrific. I was, I chatted with Gregor a couple of weeks ago, and I think he was after like 20 games and said, kind of give me an assessment. And I said, well, let's see where he is after 40. Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out he went on a heater, and we only have to see what he is after, 31 games. I think the world of him. And I think he has a great self-awareness for what type of player he is. He'll openly tell you he's not a driver of a line. He'll openly tell you he needs to play with somebody who can make plays for him. And then in turn, that will make him a better player. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be a guy who's in on the forecheck. He's smart beyond his years. And I think talking with Colin Chalk, he's extremely coachable too, which I think is an underrated value for a kid who's 20, now 21 years old, coming out of junior, who's had, probably 3 points a game his entire life. You come to the American Hockey League, you're playing 31-year-olds that have been around the game. It's not as easy as it looks like. So for Savoy to come in and have the success he has, he's second in rookie scoring. He's the leading 20-year-old in the league. He's having a terrific season. Do I think he's here all year? Yes, I do. But I don't think that's a knock on him. I just don't think the Oilers need him right now at that level. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't get up, and that'd be a great story. But I think, this is a perfect year for him and what he's done. He's done everything that's been asked of him, and, he's contributing now in all facets of the game.
Including defensively?
Yes. Yeah, he's been terrific. And one of his underrated areas, he's an excellent PK guy. And I think, when you look at Matt Savoie, because of his skill and because of his, his skating and his just overall play, he's dangerous shorthanded. So, we've seen a couple, and it hasn't necessarily led to shorthanded goals, but it's led to momentum the other way. It's led to 2-on-1s. It's led to opportunities at the other end of the ice just because he is that highly skilled. You don't look at, maybe PK guys as being guys who can, have that burst, but he does. And I think at the end of the day, that's another role where he can start carving that out potentially at the NHL level. We saw it a couple of years ago with Tyler Benson needing a role at the NHL level, and that's when he started killing penalties.
Right.
Well, Savoie's already killing penalties, so I think he's far and away ahead in terms of 20-year-old years as a Condor. He's right there. He's above Yamamoto for me. Puljujärvi got in here at 18 and then kind of, meandered his way around. But for me, he's having the most impactful 20-year-old year that we've seen in Bakersfield in terms of what he can become at the next level, because I think this game translates at the next level.
Nice.
Just looking overall, the depth of the organization right now with Philp called up, and let's say they do run into some injury trouble, which they haven't really had to deal with too much so far this season. You mentioned Savoie, probably down there for the rest. Who's the next guy? Who's the next guy that gets to bounce back up?
I think it depends on what the injury is, right? And I think James Hamlin, since he's come back from injury, has been what James Hamlin was to earn the call up, last year or, year prior. He's a workhorse. Him and Drake Ujula, and you know what you're getting with Drake Ujula. You know what you're going to get with Lane Peterson. But the fact of the matter is the last couple of years, the Oilers are in win now mode. They've traded away a stable of draft picks, whether they've drafted them or potential draft picks. And at the end of the day, I don't want to say the cupboard's bare, but I use the word opportunity is a plenty here in Bakersfield. Just because that's just the nature of the beast right now. It's not necessarily a knock on anybody. I mean, look at the Oilers' record. So everyone wants to win the Stanley Cup. Does that get sacrificed at the AHL level? Maybe a bit, maybe, but it also leads to opportunity for the Philps and the Savoies of the world to really do what they do. And I think the team is admirably fighting through. We've got a whole host of injuries. We haven't even seen Roby Araventi basically this season. So, I mean, we're basically 2 lines short. We're 4D short, but at the end of the day, we're battling each night, and it's a fun team to watch. It's a team with a lot of character.
Holty, someone asked about Järventie update, and I know it's tough coming off of a torn knee. We saw it with Connor Brown last season, and now he's playing well up at the NHL level, obviously. The other one I'll throw at you, too, after a quick update on Järventie is Ollie Rodrigue, because there are some in this market who are still not satisfied.
You do see it sometimes.
Skinner
well, and Pickard, yeah.
And you're just like, what are we talking about? And they want to see Rodrigue. So please enlighten us on Järventie's situation and then where Ollie Rodrigue is in his path to development.
Yeah, Pix only plays the non-playoff teams, right? He's not a decent goaltender.
He gets the wild tonight.
I think the world of Calvin Pickard, and I think the world of Ollie Rodrigue. But first off, Järventie, I don't think he's close. He's seen a lot of doctors the last couple of weeks and months, and it's really unfortunate because this was a guy that was brought in to, let's face it, if you lost Raphael Lavoie, he was probably fitting in on that top 6, on that left wing with, Philp and Seth Griffith. That was his spot, and it's unfortunate that we haven't had him because I think he would be a needed piece to this team. And it's, the reason probably that the organization traded for a Jacob Perreault just to try and get somebody in here that, potentially has some upside. And then in terms of Ollie Rodrigue, I mean, you know what you're getting every night. You're getting 9-1-8 American Hockey League. He's going to battle each night. He didn't have his best night the other night on Saturday at home against San Jose. He made a huge 2-on-1 save in overtime. We go up ice the other way and score with Carrick off a great dish from Savoie and win the game. He battles. He's a warrior. He's going again tonight. They're riding him now. It's his show. He's proven it. He's one of the top 6-7 goaltenders in the American Hockey League. He'll probably, if Askarov doesn't get back here to the Barracuda, he'll probably be the replacement for Askarov at the AHL All-Star game. So I just think, he's done everything that's been asked of him. And I know there's only one net in Edmonton, but at the end of the day, he's as good as advertised. And hopefully you can keep it going, because the group in front of him is certainly banged up and beat up.
Hey, man, this has been great. Thanks a lot for sharing the insight with us and giving us a few minutes.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Holty.
That is the voice of the Condors, Ryan Holt, joining us on the Oil Stream today. Nice update on a few of the guys down there.
Holty's the best, honestly, and he has the best perspective on everything. And again, like, he's talking to the coaches. He knows how to choose his words carefully working for OEG, which is fantastic. I learned that lesson very quickly in my time there, and still gives you something. So that was great. Lots of opportunity, as he said, and didn't use cupboards are empty.
Yeah.
He says there's lots of opportunity. That's how you do it.
I'm going to ask a question about the pipeline here in a second.
Excellent.
So, but no, that was a good chat. And like he said Philp is the guy for this role right now and can handle it. So
Yes.
I don't think you'll see him being overwhelmed by 10 to 11 minutes of ice time as a fourth line center.
And this is his second call up, and he had a taste. His first 3 games in the NHL, had the point in the first one, and the first game was good, the second less so, and then the third less so, and he was used less. But I think you get that out of the way, and now you know what the expectation is. You know what the speed is like, how your game has to adapt to play effectively at the NHL level. I feel like there's an opportunity for Philp to grow and build on the very small body of work he has at the NHL level here.
Okay, I want to get to this one from Ace 96.
Ace 96.
Ace 96. He says, Pickard is a fantastic, solid backup goalie. Stu has yet to prove he's a number one, in my opinion. So I would just ask.
I'm not surprised it's from
I would
Ace.
just ask, how does a guy prove to you that they're a number one? Like, what is it?
That's fair.
Like,
Sure.
what's the answer to that? How does a guy prove to his team, to the fans, that he's a number one goalie? Okay, 2 years ago, in essentially his first full season in the National Hockey League, he played 50 games and he had a .914 save percentage as, a 24-year-old at the time.
Correct.
I mean, was not expected to have to be thrust into that role.
All-Star game and a Calder finalist.
And a Calder finalist. Last year, 59 games in the regular season, 23 more in the playoffs. Finished with a .905 save percentage, won 36 games, lost 16, and tied 5, or lost 5 in the shootout or overtime. And then so far this year, he's got that save percentage up to .902. He's won 17 of his 29 games. But once again, he's like 2.5 seasons into his career. He's been an all-star. He's been nominated for a Calder, and he's been to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. And kind of holding the door shut when you're down 3-0 and trying to, play well enough to get you back to a Game 7 with the help of some good play from the team in front of him. But he's 2.5 years in. Like, how would he have proven to you that he's a number one? I guess that's the question I have. I'm not even trying to be a dick about it. I'm just, how does he prove that to you, Ace? I'm just curious.
Has responded, says if Stu had won the goaltending battle versus Bobrovsky last year, that would have proved he's a number one.
That's it.
He let
That's
in
the
one
battle?
more goal in Game 7 than Bobrovsky. Was it a great goal? No, I didn't love it, but I think Kulak misplayed it. Reinhart, 50-goal scorer last year.
Look, man,
they couldn't score 2 goals in that game. Like,
Ace, if that is your standard, then I'm sorry, you're bleep out of luck because you're not going to find a guy.
Yeah.
Like, if he would have outdueled Bobrovsky in the Stanley Cup Final, that's the only way he can prove to you that he's a number one goalie? What are we talking about here? Don't come in with ridiculous takes like that. That's the only way? Please.
I want to go over the scores from that Cup Final. Game 1.
Yeah.
The Oilers lost. What was it? 3-zip. Okay. Game 2.
So how many goals did they score?
The Oilers didn't score a goal.
But if Skinner would have had a shutout and that battle Bobrovsky, they would have played forever.
That's a very good point. I didn't think of that.
Next.
Game 2, the Oilers lost 4-1. Lackluster, obviously. 1 goal.
1 goal they scored there.
Game 3, they lose 4-3. They scored 3. Yes, they get the 4th allowed. Game 4, they absolutely blow up Bobrovsky and win 8-1.
That was the game they got to him, yeah.
Stu lets in 1. The Oilers win Game 5 in Florida 5-3.
Okay.
So you give him some run support, and he wins. The Oilers in Game 6 absolutely destroy Florida all over the ice in that game. They were not losing that game, and they end up with a 5-1 victory. And then they lose 2-1 in Game 7.
I don't think it's fair to Stuart Skinner to say he can only prove to you he's a number one by out-battling Bobrovsky in a Stanley Cup final in his second full season in the National Hockey League. What are we doing here?
3 of the 4 losses in the Cup final, the Oilers had 1 goal or less.
See, but if he would have had 3 shutouts in those games, they
right.
would have won the Cup.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to get a Vasilevsky. It's hard to get even Bobrovsky. Like when he was in Philly, they kind of didn't want him anymore, and he really took off in Columbus. Who are the other stud goalies in the league right now? Like Ottinger's great, obviously.
Echo over in the chat says Skinner is a number one, just not an elite number one. A goalie struggling to get to 900 every game is an elite. Yeah, you're right. Nobody in this market has ever said Stuart Skinner is an elite number one goaltender.
Not.
And as Tommy was just listing off, you could go through every single team in the National Hockey League. I think I'd probably say there are 6 or 7 elite goaltenders.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Shesterkin,
that's it.
Sorokin,
Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Who else?
UC Saros, you can throw in
UC Saros.
Yeah.
I like UC Saros.
Ottinger.
But how many other guys are you actually viewing as Hellebuck, obviously?
Yeah.
So what do we get? 6, 7 names? 7 names? I mean, yeah, he's not in that class. He's gone further in the playoffs than the majority of those guys. But he's not in that class. But nobody's pretending that he is.
Yeah.
And he's not getting paid like he is. Like, this is your goalie. He's getting paid what he probably deserves right now. And they're using the rest of the money to try to build a great team in front of him. I don't know.
And that argument and that case that we made still probably doesn't appease some. And Ace has been tough on Skinner, but man, I don't know. 2.5 years into your career in the NHL, and that's your body of work, I'd be like, I think I trust this guy to be my goalie. If I can get 2 or 3 goals for him every night, I feel like we're probably winning the majority of these games.
If they would have got 3 goals from them, they would have won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, look at the guys who were paid a hell of a lot more than Stuart Skinner that came up empty in a game to win the entire thing. I don't know how you're hanging on him. All right, let's keep it or clip it for Tommy Guns. If you want a wonderful hair care experience, then Tommy Guns is the place for you. Glue Guy went there last week. Got a pretty good looking haircut. And of course, after a haircut, Trev will notice it right away, and everybody else picks up on it later because you smell absolutely terrific. At Tommy Gunn's original barbershop, they believe a great haircut is more than just a quick in and out. It's the whole experience. That's why they follow the code. Commitment to deliver the best barbershop experience every time you visit. From check-in to the finishing touch, every step is crafted with care. No appointments needed. Just walk in, relax, and we will take it from there. Matthew Savoy will be the second-line winger on the Oilers in 26-27.
I'll keep that.
Keep it or clip it.
Yeah, I'll keep that.
Because it's not next year, it's the following year.
Arvidsson will be gone.
Henrique's contract will be gone. That money might be spent somewhere else.
I keep it. And if Savoy continues on this path that he's on,
that's a fair timeline, right? Like next year, you probably see him mixed in a bit, and then things open up.
Yeah, I could see it. I'll keep it. Sure. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
No, that is a good thing. If we think that this guy's going to become a second line winger, as like maybe still a rookie, technically, how many games will he play next year? Called up or mixed in? I think maybe we're being a little too optimistic. I don't know. Noah Philp will one day become the Oilers' everyday third line center. Keep it or clip it.
Oh, I'll clip it because I think he will slide into the fourth line center spot and will carve out a good Luke Glendening-like career.
Oh, wow. A Luke Glendening comparison. Ken Holland loved him.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
Yeah. You can find Luke Glendening in the Guide and Record Book.
Yes, you can. That's where Ken Holland found him.
Yeah, exactly. He was on the G page.
That's right.
All right. The Edmonton Oilers should be very concerned about their prospect pipeline. Keep it or clip it.
Keep it. It's not, pardon me, there's plenty of opportunity, as one Ryan Holt said.
What did he say they were down? They're like down four D-men.
Forwards,
like,
2 D-men, and they're patching it together. So keep it. I'll reemphasize how important scouting on the amateur and pro side are going to be in the next few years to make sure we see these Oilers extend their championship window in McDavid and Draisaitl's prime.
You're going to always have to be concerned about your pipeline when you're moving pieces. That's just the way it has to be.
Exactly, and you're minimizing the amount of draft picks you're going to have year to year. The Oilers should be concerned about their pipeline, and this is where the scouting department really earns its keep. So keep it.
All right, that is going to do it for the Oil Stream today. GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show gets rolling once again, Tommy, at
5:30. Sean Bell, myself, and Hernan, the Latino Heat, right here in studio. We're going to slide in for Jay and Reed at 5:30.
And tomorrow you'll be at Westgate.
And Friday you and I are at Westmount BP
Westmount
for lunch.
BP's, yep.
And then on Saturday, I've been talking to Gavin over at Shamrock, and we're ready to go for Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. The Oilers alumni
bond spiel. We're going to have a lot of great guests. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to bring a bunch of extra headsets.
Excellent. That'll be a good time as well. Lots of good stuff coming down the pipe here. That's going to do it for the Oil Stream today, brought to you by Boston Pizza. EST Afternoons with Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage on the way, followed by the Reed Wilkins Show from 3 until 6. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock on the Nielson Show. Take it easy.